I wanted to ask about, I know we did a little bit last week, but Artemi Panarin, is anything kind of shaking there, or is it still a bit of a standstill?
Starting to get a little bit more clarity on what the options really are. I think Carolina's very much in this. I think LA's in this. What I heard over the weekend, which was very interesting, um, yes, he wants the extension, but if the opportunity doesn't really pop up, and Florida is also in this mix and whatever, I don't think Detroit and Washington at the moment, unless things have shifted, are destinations that are likely. He wants to chase a Stanley Cup and he wants the extension. I do believe, and I don't want to freak anybody out here, I do believe that if there is an opportunity to chase a Stanley Cup and as a pure rental, if no other options present themselves, I think Colorado, Dallas, and Edmonton would be teams that he would consider accepting a deal to as a rental to chase a cup. I think the primary goal is to do that, but also link in on an extension. Those are three teams that the extension doesn't work. We'll see kind of how this goes. Again, I was told, and we talked on this last week, that they'd like to get something done by this roster freeze. We'll see if they can pull this off in the next 24 hours. But over the weekend, you started to hear that if things don't work out from an extension side of it, and they can't figure out the trade, then he might be willing to consider being that rental for those top echelon teams. But we'll see kind of how that continues to go here in the next 48 hours or so.
I know you said don't freak out. Kind of freaking out. So, okay. Would this be as similar to a Brock Nelson trade, do you think? Where it's like, the others have to send Ike Howard and whatever else the rest of it was to like kind of match the Cal Ritchie thing, if this was to happen in this regard?
I think package-wise that makes sense, or the assets make sense. I wouldn't compare Isaac Howard to Callum Ritchie. So you're probably going to have to up that quite a bit, and I don't know if there's that piece there. And full transparency, I don't know if these two teams have spoken to the degree in which this would escalate, something in the next 48 hours. Just to reiterate, the word that I got over the weekend was those are three teams, Colorado, Dallas, Edmonton, that if it was strictly a rental opportunity and the other opportunities aren't there for him in terms of extension, that I think those are the three teams that he would be willing to chase a Stanley Cup with for the duration of this season. So have those conversations evolved? I don't think so, not yet. Or at least I should say not as of yesterday, which is when I got that info. But we'll see. Because again, I think Carolina is very much in this. I think they're willing to work out an extension. And I think they've got the pieces that would appeal to the New York Rangers. But would they be willing to give him 3 times 11, 3 times 12, or are they going to try, or is he going to really hold firm on 12 and a half times 4 kind of thing? Or do they extend it? Do they go 5 years times 10 if he wants his 50 mil or close to it? I think all of that's been they're trying to figure all that out. But in LA as well, I think LA is willing to make it happen, but I don't know if what they have to offer would be as appealing as some other teams right now.
So right now, it seems as though Artemi Panarin's focus is on going out and getting an extension done. Anaheim, all these other teams are probably going to offer him 4 or 5 year deals at 10 to 12 or 13 million dollars.
Apparently he wants 50 million.
Sure. And a team like Anaheim or San Jose would probably not blink twice at giving him that kind of money because they have a bunch of cap space. The Oilers, it's a non-starter for them to bring in someone who's that high of a cap hit right now.
Today, yes.
Today. So if Panarin can't get an extension somewhere and he goes, all right, my 2 options are run out the season with the New York Rangers who don't want me. Okay, that doesn't make sense. No, you want to go somewhere, go on a run, and build up your value again over the playoffs. So it makes sense that it's Edmonton, Florida, Tampa Bay, Colorado, Dallas. Like, those are the teams who, at 50% retained, would try to make a move.
I think the other side of it, too, is a lot of the contenders just can't don't want to talk extension yet.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing, Freeman was talking about it too, with Dallas, for example. If they get Panarin, they're basically going to, if they get Panarin and extend him, they're saying goodbye to Jason Robertson. But they could get both and then just allow Panarin to walk at the free agency, which is fine, whatever. Yeah. But they also, the rumor is out of Dallas that, which I thought was very funny, Jim Nill wants to bolster the prospect pool. So, are you trying to win a Stanley Cup? Like, who gives a shit about your prospect pool? And Colorado just simply cannot afford an extension because they have to worry about McCarr next season.
Yeah.
So, if the Oilers can get him, I think they can extend him. And this is the kind of player that they want and need. I would imagine Howard would be in the trade. Obviously, he's their top prospect. Maybe Mangiapane somehow you can squeeze in there to get some money to work. But this is why we talked about earlier, like the importance of accruing cap space. This is why it's important. Because didn't you do the math? And I think it says on Puckpedia right now, if the Oilers are able to accrue, they can have $6 million in cap space, correct?
That's playoff, different than deadline.
How's that different?
Because remember, in the playoffs, it's just the players who are in your roster who you would need to.
So they would have $6 million.
Yeah, but they're including. I would assume they're including like taking out Mangiapane, who's healthy scratch.
Interesting.
Taking out Regula, like those guys all of a sudden don't count.
So how much could they have? Do we know that?
I don't know the answer to that.
Son of a gun.
Someone said, where was it? It was basically a comment of like, Chester, can we talk about that? Why don't they have enough money to extend one big free agent? Isn't that why McDavid signed the biggest hometown discount ever? So I get where you're coming from with that. And they do actually have cap space to spend next season. Yeah, they are not totally strapped. So
they have 12.
Well, if they can get rid of Mangiapane this summer, they will have right around $16 million in cap space.
Yep.
That would be with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 forwards on the roster. Let's count Ike Howard as one. That brings him down to about $15 million now. But you would only need to sign 2 forwards. That would be with 6 D-men signed. You have to sign Stasny. So let's say Stasny's what, 1.5 million?
Sure.
Whatever it is. Okay, so now you have Stasny in there. Your D-core is full. And then you need to sign probably Connor Ingram. Let's call him 2. So if you do 2 for Ingram, 1.5 for Stasny, and you bring up Ike Howard, that's 2, 3.5, 4.5-ish. You will have about $11.5 million to sign 2 forwards. Make one of them a league minimum guy. You can afford a $10 million player this summer just from my quick back of the napkin math. I know bonuses and shit like that could mess it up. That's enough to go get a really good player.
Yeah, and they want to.
And they've taken these shots before, and the proof is in the pudding. And yeah, Howard and Hudson are on the roster. Perfect. Hudson, Howard, both. You can sign a $10 million player. The issue is Panarin might be a $15 million player. You can go trade for Philip Forsberg. You can go do all these other things. You can afford to do that. You could sign Nick Schmaltz for $10 million if for whatever reason you wanted to do that. I don't think they would. I think that'd be dumb. But you get what I'm saying. They just can't get Panarin level. They can get a really, really damn good player. They just can't go all the way up to Panarin.
Depends what the contract is. If they were like, hey, you want $50 million? We will give you a 5-year deal. He's not like he's slowed down. He has he had a 189-point season last season. Yeah. On pace for another 90-point season. Like he's gonna finish 1,000 points in his career. And he joined the league when he was 25, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like this type of player who just looks like he might just keep going forever. To be honest.
Again, Joe Pavelski is a guy who found a way to stay productive. Different kind of player, obviously. Yep. But like, I don't know. The only thing that worries me a little bit with a guy like Panarin, will he, and this is going to sound dumb, like, do you play him on, I guess you could split time with Nuge on the power play or whatever.
Nuge becomes your third line center.
Yeah, and Nuge becomes your third line center. It's definitely a step back for Nuge's role on the team. But I think if you're going to do it, you just want to be 100% sure that Panarin is the guy.
I think he would be the guy. He's the number 1 player on the market.
Right now, yeah, he is. I know. And this goes back to what we talked about with like, hey, you acquired Jari. Now you can't go get a hypothetical Saros or whoever in the summer.
It's fine. I got Jari and Connor Unger.
Oh, Connor Unger's coming. But like, if you go and make this move for Panarin, you're closing the door on being able to go make a Philip Forsberg deal in the summer.
That's okay. Panarin's probably better.
I
mean, they're not that far apart. I don't think you're that.
I think Philip Forsberg's a more complete player, and he's younger, and he's cheaper. So, like, again, you would have to know the answer to those things. And maybe they do. Maybe they've called Nashville. Nashville's like, Philip has told us he's playing out his career in Nashville. Quit calling me. Hang up.
Maybe that is the case.
Right? So, like, that's what I mean. I would want them to be sure that the package they're going to give up, which would probably be a first and Ike Howard, I don't think it would be as much as Brock Nelson, because there's the trade protection here, and Panarin's going to get to pick his spot to some extent.
You don't think it'd be as much? I think the Brock Nelson was an overpay. That's why I think it could be similar. I think back to that, and it's like, really? You paid essentially 2 first-round assets? There was something else, I can't remember what it was, for Brock Nelson. I remember being blown away they gave away their top prospect. That's why I think like it could be similar. And plus, too, you probably have to throw Andrew Mangiapane in it. Yeah,
well, that's the other thing, too. You got to get rid of Mangiapane and more. You probably have to get rid of Mangiapane and find a way to offload Rico, which would be very difficult to do. So, like, again, there's hurdles to jump through here, and they need to be sure. I'm not totally sold on, like, I love that Dave said it, and he obviously has intel on this thing. I'm just like, I'm very hesitant. What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Every Day, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered, from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.